Alrighty then. Hello everybody. It is 7:30 PST on May the 29th of 2021. And it's time for Cast Talks. I'd like to welcome Loft Bed. Yeah, I know, it's a nice one, isn't it? Well, hello there, Ella, and hello there, Playful. Glad to have you both, as always. I hope we'll get a visit from Jeremy as well. That'd be great. Heyo, back to ya. But yes, this is Cast Talks. This is the show where if you're feeling a little bit like you want to just relax to someone with a nice voice talking for about 2 hours about some good news, or about some animals, or even about something random, then tune in and relax for a little while. Or if you'd like some companionship, then leave us on and join us in chat. Submit your questions or whatever you'd like, and I'll answer them. Today we have some random good news, which I'm going to look up right now, actually. You were the only one in chat last week besides Jeremy. It's true, it was pretty quiet last week. Let's see, today's good news is 100-year-old Galapagos giant tortoise found on Fernandina Island is indeed a member of the extinct species, and harvesting air conditioning condensation could replace cities' portable water use. And baby elephant rescued after falling into Indian well 30 feet deep. That and more stories like it are coming up tonight on Cast Talks. Like I said, it was a little quiet, and it's totally okay that you couldn't make it. Either way, how are you two doing? I want to hear all about Ella and Playful, if I can, that is. The bus life, living in a bus. I used to travel in a semi-truck with a marching band, and honestly, those were fairly wretched times in my life, to be completely truthful about it. You're alright, just tired? You're alright, well good. I'm glad to hear that from both of you. I'm pretty good. I had a busy day. I was supposed to be playing D&D, but that didn't end up happening, which is alright. And I was out doing chores and working on the front lawn and pulling up some weeds. And then I was doing a little bit of exercise with one of my practice greatswords. So that was all something to look forward to. And now I'm doing my favorite thing of the week. Hanging out here with a bunch of cute people, just taking it easy on a Saturday night. Oh, Playful, I believe last week you said you were going to formulate some questions for me. So if you have them ready, I'm willing to answer them right now. This is a quick segment called Questions for Cass. I'm going to coin that right now. So if you have any questions, I'll answer them. Also for you, Ella, if you have any questions, I'll answer them too. But as far as marching band goes, I've talked about this a little bit before. I was a part of a high school marching band, and I had about 3 years, maybe 3.5 years of experience doing this. And it was a fairly tough regime. The regimen that you needed to follow was marching around a asphalt. You forgot completely, you're a goof. Oh, it's okay. Think of some now. I'll answer them still. I was marching around a asphalt pavement, a parking lot for about 5 hours every day for 3 summers in a row. That was during the summers, and I was doing it so much that I developed permanent skin damage from it, a permanent skin tan, I guess you could say. And it was a tough experience, and I don't know why I stayed so long. It was very harsh and rigorous. In fact, some might even say it was a brutal method of teaching that bordered on abuse. But if that's the truth or not, I can't completely tell you. All I can say is I don't have the best memories of it myself. But it's really alright. I've gotten over it for the most part. It took a while, though. Also, I would really recommend that if anyone is interested in living more comfortably, that you situate yourself as far away from semi-trucks as you can. Because semi-trucks they're big and they're loud, and also they're not comfortable. I'll tell you that much, they're not comfortable to ride inside of. If you can manage that, then you'll live a much better life. At least that's what I think. Is it storming where you are, or is that the loft background? Semi-trucks, yes. That is the loft background. It just happens to be very good. This is a good one to keep her. Let me know if it's too loud. Now, if it is your job to drive a semi-truck, then all I can say is I feel for you. Though, having actually stayed in the back of a semi-truck while it was going, I can only say it is a very bumpy and very uncomfortable experience. It is very nice, it's true. I like it as well. Look at that. Thank you, Centennial RP, for the follow. That's a good one. It's been a while since we've had one on a follow, and I'm actually quite happy about that. I love hearing the little noise. Oh, by the way, do you guys think I should turn up that alert noise? And ooh. I want it to be loud enough that you can kind of hear it, but not so loud that it interrupts anything. Oh, well, thank you, Playful. It is always good to get someone new hanging around us. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, then, you know, I'll move on. But I'll still answer them if you've got them. But I'm officially ending questions for Cass, at least for the moment. So we're moving on to our first good news story of the day. Questions about anything, really. Any questions you might have for me, or about the show, or really about anything. I'm willing to answer questions of any variety, of course within reason. Here's our first story, from Andy Corbley of May 26th, 2021. 100-year-old Galapagos giant tortoise found on Fernandina Island is indeed a member of extinct species. The high hopes of scientists who found a 100-year-old female giant tortoise on Fernandina Island in the Galapagos have been confirmed. Genetic tests have proven it is a member of the species thought to have gone extinct more than a century ago. Presumed to be lost for 112 years, the Galapagos Conservancy and the Galapagos National Park Directorate will urgently launch expeditions to find a mate for the female Calonodis fantasticus. It's a hard one. And save the species. GNN reported on the discovery of the tortoise called Fern in 2019. While Yale University began conducting genetic analysis to determine the creature's exact species, researchers had strong suspicions that it was Fernandina, so launched expeditions on the island to look for more members of her species. Soon afterward, park rangers reported sighting scat and tracks on the volcanic slopes, suggesting there could be more turtles around. If found, any remaining individuals will immediately be transported to the breeding center on Santa Cruz Island, where several species of giant tortoises have been successfully bred back to stable population levels. One of the greatest mysteries in Galapagos has been the Fernandina Island giant tortoise. Rediscovering its lost species may have occurred just in the nick of time to save it. We now urgently need to complete the search of the island to find other tortoises, said Dr. James Gibbs, Vice President of Science and Conservation for the Galapagos Conservancy and a tortoise expert at the State University of New York. We desperately want to avoid the fate of Lonesome George, said Danny Ruida Cordova, director of the Galapagos National Park Directorate, in a press release. My team from the park and Galapagos Conservancy are planning a series of major expeditions to return to Fernandina Island to search for additional tortoises beginning this September. Well, one might think, what are you waiting until September for? The landscape of Fernandina is dominated by an active volcano and a hard volcanic landscape, making long-term exploration difficult. In fact, a January 2020 eruption delayed the first planned expedition to the island in the aftermath of Fern's discovery. Meanwhile, the Galapagos Conservancy have set up a fundraiser for the 3 separate expeditions to the island, equipped with tortoise veterinarians and helicopters to scout from the air and transport any tortoises they find back to the breeding center. The previous president of the Galapagos Conservancy, Johanna Berry, last year admitted to GNN that the old female was thought to be a Fernandina tortoise because she was found there, but doubts remained because sailors in the 19th and 20th centuries often moved tortoises around. I can understand why people are excited. It's either going to be, wow, it's a Fernandina tortoise, or wow, it's not, she sighed. And wow, it is. That was a good one. Oh, today's tea is ginger lemon tea as well. It's the only one I had. I need to get more chamomile because it's very good for your throat. You know, sitting out here on this bus, I do feel a sense of, I'm not sure what it is a sense of, to be honest with you. It's a sense of something. It's like it reminds me of other times. It reminds me of back when I was in marching band, though there were problems with being around other people when I was so, I guess, exhausted with myself, so unhappy and all that. I think the hardest part was seeing other people have fun where I couldn't. That was really difficult for me. Because during that time, during this very difficult time for me, you're on a bus. Well, I am on a bus right now, of course. I'm sitting right here on this bus, talking to you fine folks. I think seeing other people have fun when you're feeling like a sourpuss or feeling antisocial as well, it can really suck. It can really suck when you're sitting there and everybody else around you is enjoying themselves, but you can't seem to be able to. You can't seem to be able to. Why am I on a bus? Because this is where the background is. It's a bit of a roleplay, I know, but I mean, buses, if they look this good, I'd be on them all the time. Probably going home or just getting out of the house for a while. Yeah, this is a bus, believe it or not. It's a very nice bus. I've confused you. My apologies. But it is difficult to enjoy yourself when there is such little joy to be felt inside of you. And that's something I realized, that you have to work on yourself first before you can start being around other people so much and enjoying the world like you would like to. You gotta work on you first. It's real tough though. It's very, very tough. Something that I've always had a little bit of a difficult time with, especially in the past, was just approaching people. You know, that's so tough for me. It's so tough to just walk up to someone and approach them, because there's a million things that run through my head about being awkward, which I do feel very awkward sometimes. It's strange. The moment I actually start talking with somebody, I can win them over in like a paragraph. But to actually start talking with somebody, that's really tough for me, of all the things. If it was just as simple as people approaching me first, I think I could make almost anything work. But it is tough. It's very tough to be the person who has to make approaches on other people, because you can't always be approached. Which is how it should be. But in some cases, you are approached by somebody, and those are my favorites, honestly, is when there's somebody who like you think is cool or you like, and then they show up and they say hi to you. It's a changing moment. It's a life-changing moment. And I've had a few of those. Though, for the most part, the people that have spoken to me or approached me, I wasn't ready for them, and so I would always make a mistake. Like, I would self-destruct in some way, or even worse, I might say something that was rude or inconsiderate, or anything like that. And sometimes people just do that. They just sort of have these destructive methods of keeping people from actually talking to them. You approached me. Yeah, you did approach me. Ella approached me in Second Life. I think it was at a dating sim. And it worked out great. It worked out fantastic. Because I didn't have to talk to anybody, and she said hi first, and then we just got going. And before we knew it, we were besties. It turned out really well. Besties for the resties. It's ride or die right now. I'm willing to ride. I'm gonna ride. I haven't heard that one before though. That's a really good one, Ella. I'm gonna remember that. Rider Cass. You choose Cass. Well, thank you. If it was Rider Ella, I would choose Ella. Let's see. I love this this ambience right now. It's really good. If I could actually stream from a place like this, I would for sure. I would stream from the couch or the bed. Need some blinds though. I don't want those windows open all the time. Windows open, anyone could look in. But, you know, use the blinds and you're good. Let's go on to our next good news story. World's tiniest pig, at 10 inches tall, once thought to be extinct, is returning to the wild. Another animal saved from extinction. Extinction. Oh my gosh, can you believe that? Who would imagine that in the habitat of elephants, tigers, and rhinos, extinction, yeah, I know, the world's smallest wild hog is the animal that's determining where the conservation dollars go. Like the keystone in an arch that holds all the others in place. The endangered pygmy hog of North India is the keystone species of the Terai grasslands. And while those other large mammals can live elsewhere, the hog cannot. Therefore, you have a situation where protecting a 10-inch tall pig has the added benefit of protecting the 300-pound tigers and 8-ton elephants. Wow, elephants are 8 tons. Wow, I never knew that. I knew they were heavy, but not that heavy. Presumed extinct until it was discovered in 1971 in the Indian state of Assam by a tea plantation worker. It wasn't until the 1990s that conservationists began breeding the pygmy hogs in captivity. Fortunately, the hogs, which represent the last living species in the genus Porcula, breed like, well, pigs, and now between 300 and 400 are roaming the Terai grasslands again, while another 74 stay in captivity, awaiting reintroduction. This is all down to the work of the Pygmy Hog Conservation Program, established in the 90s by Gerald Durrell of the Durrell Wildlife Conservation Trust. Between 2008 and 2020, National Geographic reports the PHCP released 130 wild hogs into 2 national parks, Banas and Orang. So, as well as 2 wildlife sanctuaries, Barnati and Sonai Rupai. All 4 of these are found in the state of Assam. So that's where the special grassland habitat the pygmy hogs require can be found. Grassland ecosystems often contain 1 or more species that act as regulators or engineers which keep the system healthy. Lemmings or other rodents constantly aerate the soil through the digging, while grazers like bison or wildebeest constantly trim the tall grass species allowing light to reach the smaller blades. Pygmy hogs play a role like this in the Terai grasslands. They tear up grasses to make small thatched nests over depressions in the ground, and the trails and corridors they make among the grass stalks help create space for light and for other plant species to grow, not to mention useful ready-made highways for other animals. If the Terai grasslands can be protected from grazing animals and fires, there's no doubt the hog will become a common sight once again. Lovely. That's a good one. Yay for hogs, I agree. Going hog wild for the piggies. I, for one, love pigs. I think they're fantastic. Yeah, I know. I'm glad you like that one. Hog wild. Hog whittle. You typing too fast there, Ella. It's going to get the better of you. Here's another good one. Harvesting air conditioning condensation could replace cities' potable water use, by Andy Corbley, from May 27th of this year. While looking for ways to make homes and offices more efficient, building managers have realized that something as seemingly insignificant as the water droplets from the underside of air conditioning units have the potential to quench the thirst of thousands. While the drips don't seem like much, they really add up. Microsoft reports that their 46,000 square meter offices in Herzliya, Israel, collect 3 million liters of condensate from air conditioners annually, which is used to irrigate the campus flora and cool the building. This equates to straight up. Oh, Jeremy, thank you so much for the follow. That's so good of you. 2 follows in one day. That's a good day. It's a very good day. Well, come on in. Take it easy and sit down on the couch and have a nice little relaxation while I keep on talking about pigs and air conditioning. Well, can't find the darn volume. Do watch your language there, Jeremy. No cursing on this stream. Welcome back, though. Glad to have you. Let me know if I'm too loud. I can always turn myself down. This equates to the entire annual indoor and outdoor water needs of at least 2 family homes. In the U.S., a campus building at Rice University, Houston, has an AC unit that generates 15 gallons of condensate per minute. They believe their entire campus could supply 12 million gallons annually. Oh, well, hello, Claudia. I do hope you're able to come in and enjoy yourself for a little while, and welcome on in. How are you doing? Let me know about your week and such, if you're feeling like you want to share. Grasping this potential, municipal governments and eco-conscious offices around the United States are experimenting with different ways of utilizing a resource which for many years has served only to drip down the walls of buildings, giving them a dirty, run-down appearance. It's not the hardest challenge, since condensation is a process that's quite easy to control and predict. For example, If the surface on which condensation is taking place is uneven, the water will always run to the narrowest point before gathering enough mass to fall. Positioning a cistern or channel under that point is even essentially the only major step required. You can't hear me? Oh. Well, make sure that your browser isn't muted. I do hope that is able to be solved soon. Why? I don't know why I'm giving advice when they can't even hear me. It's silly. Thank you, Ella. Doing the heavy lifting there, the typing for me. Under that point is essentially the only major step required, or adding a water pump if one needs to send the water uphill. Furthermore, many AC units come with rubber condensate disposal piping, which drains the moisture into a specific location, such as a yard. Oh, the Twitch app, okay. That makes sense. In Austin, Texas, a place that is both parched and forward-thinking, the city council approved an incentive program that will offer large building managers money if they can reuse their air conditioning condensate. Gray water or rainwater for on-site non-potable needs. Bloomberg reports that between two buildings, the 56-story Austonian residential skyscraper and the Austin Central Library, their water recycling methods could save the city 362,800 gallons of water per year. Oh, okay. You guys gotta figure it out. Let me know when you can hear me. Oh, no, it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Thanks for the help there, Playful. You really solved the mystery. Yeah, and it's alright, Claudia. I completely forgot the name Claudia for a second. Just glad that we got it all figured out. You can hear now, good. Well, I can finally welcome you on in. Thank you so much for joining us and for the follow. That was really great. Made my day. Systems that go farther, that save 1 million gallons of potable water, are eligible to receive $250,000 in funding, doubling the $500,000 if the systems can save the city 3 million gallons. Another hot and arid city, Tucson, is demonstrating the use of these water-conserving systems. The College of Architecture, Planning, and Landscape Architecture at the University of Arizona uses 100% recycled water in their Sonoran Landscape Laboratory. You're using the Twitch app via your cell phone. That's how you knew how to help out. Hey, you got it working. You saved the day. It's a good thing. Situated on what used to be 1.2 acres of parking lot, this miniature piece of the Sonoran Desert uses 95,000 gallons of water, all collected from air conditioning condensate for the irrigation of desert gardens and in continuously topping up a pond where local wildlife can drink. You saved the day. It's true. It's true. Other non-potable water integration features like roof runoff, drinking fountain gray water, and backwash from a sand filter, along with the HVAC condensate, will save an estimated 230,000 gallons of potable water there per year. There are several online guides for how to build your own recycling system or the basic principles of harvesting your own AC condensate if you live in a dry climate and want to take advantage of this techno blessing. Techno blessing. I like that. Oh, also, Claudia, how are you doing? I hope that you're okay. Let me know what you've been up to in chat if you'd like. Here's another good news story. Scientists partially restore vision in blind man using an emerging technique that genes from light-sensitive algae. Wow, that is crazy. By Andy Corbley from the 28th of May of this year. By injecting a Parisian man's eye with genes from algae that encode for light-sensing proteins, scientists were able to slowly restore the patient's vision to the point where he could locate, identify, and count objects again. Well, Lily is kind of ditched Mayville, and we were just gonna hang out on Discord. Then we got a new stream notice, so we're all, hey, let's do that, and we're all switchy as heck. For those who don't know, we have multiple personalities, so I don't know if we will switch again or not. Well, any one of you is welcome here, as long as you don't say things like as long as you don't use any curse words, you're welcome here. Oh, you didn't hear that before, but cursing is not allowed in this stream, and that's just letting you know, so that you can keep yourself in check in the future. So thank you for that ahead of time. And yeah, we'll be okay with even if you start switching around. It's all good here. The treatment is being called a breakthrough in optogenetic therapy and offers a chance of vision restoration in people with retinitis pigmentosa, the degradation of photoreceptive cells in their eyes. Found in glowing algae, the protein called channel rhodopsin crimson R. Cass says we've been up to having food with a neighbor, and she's going home on Tuesday, so we're gonna do lunch on Monday. Oh, no, it's okay. People make that mistake all the time. This is just a very, oh, and you don't have to apologize. It's really okay. I'm just glad that you're here. So don't even think about it for a moment. Yeah, it's really alright. Found in glowing algae, a protein called channel rhodopsin crimson R aids in the flow of ions in and out of the cell after being exposed to light. The application of this protein opens up new possibilities for retinal gene therapy, as it bypasses the broken photoreceptors, typifying retinitis pigmentosa. Instead, the crimson R genes were targeted for retinal ganglion cells. Oh, retinal ganglions, which are part of the vision equipment responsible for taking information from photoreceptors and relaying them as the optic nerves, and then to the brain, where they're transformed into what we know as sight. The ganglia were essentially given the job of the photoreceptors, which, due to the disease, no longer functioned. A pair of purpose-built goggles collected the image of the world and condensed it into a single amber light spectrum, the one which causes the channel rhodopsin crimson R protein to change shape and send signals to the brain. Over months of training, the patient was able to see objects, the white lines on the sidewalk, the more with the help of the goggles. all of which is detailed in the resulting study published in Nature Journal. This doesn't seem like a particularly advanced treatment, but retinitis pigmentosa has no approved therapy and is one of the most common causes of blindness in young people. Further developments in this field. Well, everybody says you got a bad case of potty mouth. The stuff about the eyes rocks. It is fantastic, isn't it? And it's okay to have a potty mouth as long as you keep it in check when you can. I won't hold it against you if you let out a darn or a heck every now and again. But I will keep reminding you. It does rock, though. Further development in this field could make optogenetic therapy much more futuristic, such as a gene somewhere in biology could be found that reacted in the same way as crimson R, but towards multiple color spectrums. This would allow a more natural version of sight to be restored. On the other hand, stem cell methods for restoring photoreceptors have been pioneered in mice and also performed in humans. Sai Chavala, PhD, at the Laboratory for Retinal Rehabilitation in the University of North Texas, recently showed that fibroblasts, a type of skin cell, can reprogram themselves into photoreceptors in patients and mice with age-related macular degeneration, a type of progressive blindness that's so common it's practically just describing as aging. Chavala is gunning for FDA approval of this treatment for rolling back age-related MD in the next 1 to 2 years. Another fantastic story. And now we're going to get into one of my favorite segments. Some cute animal videos before our break. Today we have rescued baby cow starts wrestling with a dog just his size. Lily wants rabbits. Oh, I hope she gets them. Rabbits are adorable. Let her know that I can pick up some rabbit videos in just a second. Actually, I could do it now if you'd like. You know what, I will. I'll do some rabbits for you. How about that? There you go, Jared. Oh, there you go, Claudia. All rabbits are cute, aren't they? You always worry that you'll lose your eyesight, but then you imagine how cool it would be to live your life through sounds. Well, Ella, I've thought about that too. Go like echolocate and stuff. I've never really been able to do that well. I'm kind of blind as a bat with my eyes closed. I bump into things and I have trouble remembering where things are. Banana eating rabbit. It's true. Apparently this rabbit loves bananas. Oh, Nutsy. What a great name. Carrot breath. It's pretty great. Aww. More like Toph from Atli. But that's not necessarily the most realistic thing. Hey, if I could make the earth bend around me, then I would. I really would. I'd build things for people, build houses and stuff. But also, if I could sense vibrations in the earth, I would. I'd do something with it. I don't know what though.
It's horrible, and I never really thought I'd be that worried as an animal. It was really
you could bend metal. That'd be something. You'd be the best blacksmith of all time. Rabbits can be litter box trained. I didn't know that. Wow. I would love to train a bunny to use a litter box. I don't know how you would do it though. Hurry back, Ella.
Not long to start becoming the owner of the home of the boss. Don't growl at me when I'm picking up your poo. He's got free reign of the house. When he's
Oh, I love when they run around. No, you can't eat gummy bears. You can't eat gummy worms. Oh, what a cutie. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm more than happy to acquiesce to Lily. She's always been very kind to me. We'll do a couple more bunny videos. You know what? A little loud.
If my kids are playing with toys, he likes to go into the toy room with them. When my kids are watching TV, he'll come lay next to them. Coco Puff really loves my 2-year-old using him as a pillow. What do you guys do with Coco Puff? Play with him. The kids love taking him on walks. They love playing with him outside. They love giving him treats. He lets the kids mess with him a lot. He's very friendly.
Oh man, it's a big rabbit.
Get love and attention all
It's a
day long.
huge
When
rabbit.
action happening, he's going to be there right with it as a family member.
Oh my gosh.
Surprised Maisie because she loves animals. That was really fun.
Aw, she's so tiny.
Seeing the joy.
So is the rabbit.
The highlights of being a parent. They were beyond ecstatic. They were so happy.
Given
We had plenty of concerns.
a cutie to a cutie.
We didn't realize how calm he would actually be. Once we got Coco Puff, we couldn't bear to let him go outside by himself. Like, we couldn't bear to not be with him all the time. And slowly, he
What a
had
good
free
boy.
range of our house. It's actually surprisingly great. Rabbits are
Yeah, the best
social
rabbits are like dogs.
and I don't
They
think
just sort of hang out and do
because
stuff
they're
with you.
always in a cage. Kids destroy everything and rabbits destroy everything. Multiple times a week, I'll find him on top of the table, and we always have apples on our table. I don't know if it's him or my kids, but there's always apples with big chunks out of them. We slowly have picked up on how smart he is. We would just go outside and call his name, and surprisingly, he would come to us. Teaching
Aww.
circles was actually really easy. I've seen a real change in my kids of how they treat animals. They know to respect animals, and I think that's very important to life. They take care of him. When their friends come over, they're able to teach their friends how to treat an animal. The times I've seen him very happy is when we're in a forest and he's able to really roam free. And so we recently bought a motorhome, so there's going to be some adventures in the near future.
Oh my gosh.
He's a family member.
Adventures across the U.S. with a bunny. What? Oh my gosh. We have a bot, folks. We have a bot. I'm taking him out. I'm taking him out. Here we go.
He likes my husband the best, actually. That's a secret. So when my husband comes home, Coco Puff will follow my husband around looking for some rubs. My husband will lay next to him on the ground, and he will groom my husband.
It's funny.
What doesn't
You know, I had an Angora rabbit for a little while. I had a few actually, but my favorite one was named Leon, and he had a fantastic personality. He would always be running around grabbing stuff for you and bringing you presents, and it reminded me of my rabbit. Yeah, I know. I did that to him too. I did that to him too. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Ooh, your beagle and bunny are basically sisters. Let's look at that one.
Typically, beagles and bunnies would not be friends. friends. Chloe gets called a broken beagle all the time, just because most beagles have a prey drive to hunt bunnies,
Aw,
but
a
they
beagle and a
have
bunny.
such a
Look at
special
them. They're
bond
good
that you
friends.
don't really see every day. The snow excites them the most. I think it's
I've always
so
wanted a wiener
fun,
dog. I love
and
wiener dogs. They're just so
when it
long.
starts snowing outside, they both just look out the window. They just love
I want a
running
wiener dog and a
around,
cat.
eating
That'd be
it,
great. Or a
playing
pug.
in it. They are both like little snow bunnies. I always call them that. So we have 2 guinea pigs,
Oh,
Henry
guinea
and Gretchen,
pigs.
and then we have 2 bunnies, Rue and Willow, and then we have our beagle Chloe. But Chloe and Rue genuinely want to be together, like all the time.
Good animal friendships
Rue
are
leads
so
them on
wholesome.
walks.
Oh, bunny walk.
Chloe will sit outside the pen and like be on guard, but Rue will come running up to the pen and like put her feet on top of it, like asking me to bring Chloe in. They fight for my latch,
Did you take Chloe's spot?
and they act like actual siblings because she wants that spot. Rue will spend so long making her bed perfect, and Chloe will just kind of look at her like, oh my gosh, like, go back to sleep.
Aw.
They're in the car a lot together, whether we're going to my parents' house for the weekend or Starbucks drive-thru, getting treats from there. Even if I just open the fridge, they both come running because they want to be the first one.
They want
to
those
have whatever
snacks.
I'm handing out.
That's what they want. They want the snacks. They want the treats.
Chloe does not have the best breath, and so whenever Chloe drinks from Rue's water bowl, or even if I give Chloe one of Rue's vegetables, and Chloe's mouth touches it, Rue will be like, absolutely not. When we first brought Rue home,
That
Chloe
bunny
didn't love
knows.
She
It
was
knows.
different.
Chloe doesn't understand bunny language.
She didn't understand that she couldn't play like a dog. Chloe would just run in circles around her, wagging her tail, trying so hard to get
Oh,
her
I
to
think we've
chase
actually
her.
shown this one on Cast Talks
And
before,
she
but I'm more than
quickly
happy to show one
learned
really.
that Rue is a bunny, and
Did
she
you
does
know
not play
that hot
chase.
dogs really were named
So
after
now
wiener
her new
dogs?
thing
Germans
is
brought
to bring
Dachshund
more
sausage
toys.
to the
So Chloe
USA,
will
so
just
a
keep
hot
bringing her
Dachshund sausage
toys.
just got shortened to a hot dog. That's great. I didn't know that.
Or, like, I have to show her options. And then pretty soon
Thank you
there's
so
just
much
a
for the
whole
lesson,
pile of
Claudia.
Toys by Rue, and Rue has no idea what is going on there. Chloe and Rue complement each other really well. Rue has really helped Chloe learn to be gentle and patient. Chloe has really helped Rue become such a trusting bunny.
Aw.
Chloe is really
A climbing
really
bunny,
safe
climbing the
place,
sheets.
and they show that we can be friends with people that are different than us.
Lovely. Alright, folks. We're about to get into our break. I'll let you know. Here at Cast Talks, we have a little thing that we do. Actually, I can just put some text up right now. There we go. Mir looks at random stuff all the time, especially when we can't sleep. Oh yeah, yeah. I do that too. So, what we do is every episode on the halfway point, we take a short little break. On our break, we walk around, we stretch out, we have a nice little time. Jeremy gets bored at times. Yeah, I'm sure I get bored too. We take some time to stretch out our legs and get a drink of water, go to the bathroom. That's what I'm going to do at least. So, I will be back in 5 minutes. And I hope that you will go find something that you can do to restore yourself and be ready to keep on going. So, be back in 5. See you folks in a minute. And we're back. Time for me to plug in my lights because it's getting dark outside. Hope you all had a lovely break, even if you just sat there. I hope that works. Oh, Cassia waves. I wave back to Cassia. Welcome back to me, welcome back to you, and thank you on both accounts. I hope Cassia. Yeah, I'm not sure how to say your name completely. Thank you so much. Alright, so I am going to tell a story. It's story time with Kaz. You know, one of these days I'll get a little thing that shows the segment that we're currently on. I think that'd be great. But it's story time. So, when I was a young lad, about the age of, let's see, about the age of 7, I would say, my parents, living in California that is, took me, my brother and sister, to a place called Medieval Times. So many of you might have gone there before in your lifetime. But I had seen many movies and interesting media about knights. That's cool, you got to be right back thing on the screen. Yeah, I know, I got that working. But thank you for noticing. And I was having a fantastic time at Medieval Times. I didn't know what to do with all the slushies and the colored flags. And you haven't been, but you've heard of it. It's something. It's a ride. It's a weird ride. And I got my slushie and my flag and sat down. And then they fed us. They had these old-timey plates made out of some kind of metal, a very thin metal. And you weren't given any silverware to eat the food. And it's like chicken and like gravy and stuff like that, where you just have to pick at it with your fingers. And I always thought that was horrible. I always thought that was horrible, and I was so afraid to eat anything because I was like, it's just a baked potato and some chicken, and you have to eat it with your fingers. I was like, I want to eat it with silverware, and so I asked if I could get silverware. I was like talking to my dad, and I was like, I want silverware. Back then, they didn't have what we do now. It's true. This is in the early 2000s, very early 2000s, like 2002 maybe, and you know, my dad was in a different state back then as well. He was asking the serving women, who he referred to as wenches, was his term, which is very problematic now that I think about it. So I was asking them for drinks, and we were on like Team Yellow or something, and the show began, and there was a great fanfare for the knights arriving at the Colosseum Center to fight for the chance to be married or to wed the princess who had no legitimate husband, or no legitimate prospect for a husband. And so this amazing tale of knights fighting and betraying each other and hurting each other just to win the noble hand of a princess. And there was always the red or the black, the green and black knight who is the villain, trying to undermine all the other knights in skulldugger's ways. And when I was looking at that, I was like, wow, these guys are so fit. They're in such good shape. Everyone loves them. I was like, man, I wish I could be like them. I thought, if I make a sword out of wood, if I practice my love of exercise and my love of movement, if I do something kind of like that, then I could attain a measure of that love and a measure of that success, and I could really find a way to have this thing that I want and make good use of it. So I don't know if it was that day specifically, but I learned about my love of swords and my love of martial arts, mostly meditation in the form of using a sword by yourself. And I don't think it was that exact moment that I learned I love swords. I think the first sword I ever saw, what would that have been? It might have been on SpongeBob, to be honest with you. It might have been the number one, the He Was Number One sword from the guy's bones. And it was a changing moment for me to see these men fighting is also sort of a buying moment as well, because seeing two men fighting over the hand of a woman, you know, that brother versus brother mentality, it's very romantic. It's very romantic. I do love me some you know, guy on guy romance. So that was something I really enjoyed. And just seeing all the spectacle while eating chicken with my fingers and the utensils, and there was some baked potatoes, and then there was what was the other food they gave you? They had so much food. They give you so much food. But now I don't even think they let you eat with your fingers anymore unless you ask to. There was bread. I remember there was bread. I'm gonna have some bread after this stream. I'm gonna have some bread. I've decided. I might eat all of it. I don't know. I might make some bacon. Oh, veggie bacon and bread is a real good time. Making a veggie bacon sandwich. Mr. Jeremy said SCA, Society for Creative Anachronism, but Mr. Kernan calls practicing with a sword all alone. He calls it the sword dance. Well, I think that both of those things are awesome. I have been thinking about SCA for a while, though I'm kind of unorthodox in my creation of stuff, and the sword dance, as he so poetically refers to it, I love that myself. I love having a sword and swinging it around. But I make really big swords. I make swords that are about 6 feet tall, maybe a little taller, and I make them out of planks of wood. And I swing them around, and today I got to do that for the first time in a while. I swung a sword around, and I felt strong and lithe and quick, and it exercised my core as well, so I got a good core workout from it. It was great. I really do like having an oversized weapon to swing around. It makes me feel very powerful. And I'm a huge fan of ultra weapons. In this case, it was an ultra great sword, which I did heft around quite a bit, so I may be really sore in the morning. But it was fun. It was great fun. I have definitely earned that veggie bacon sandwich, though. I'll say that much. Had a lovely taco salad from Taco Bueno as well. But yes, the story ends with me going home and having this bright, starry-eyed idea of becoming a knight or a swordsman of some kind, and maybe winning some beautiful person's heart by showing my acumen, showing my strength. But honestly, I don't think that that's really a test that I want to be put to. I would rather win someone through charisma and intelligence than through strength alone or constitution. I am fairly interested in the former two. The latter two, if I can improve or impress somebody with those, then I'm happy to, but I'm not sure I want to attract somebody based on those features. No, you know? Who knows? Maybe I'll be able to. Maybe I'll get all four. Get a bit of wisdom in there too. That's what I'd like. So, we're going to read some more good news stories. Good deed. Takes flight at airport as man buys ticket for someone desperate to get home, by Good News Network, from May 29th. That's today. This blog was submitted to GNN by one of our readers for publishing. If you have an interesting story of kindness or positivity, be sure and send it to us for review. Lovely. My wife came home from work yesterday and shared a very heartwarming story that one of her office colleagues told her about a recent trip to the airport. Be sure you read the end. We will. While he and his wife were waiting in the ticketing line, he overheard a man at the counter trying to get a ticket to Las Vegas. He was having trouble. He only had $150, and that wasn't enough. The ticketing agent was pretty unhelpful and told him he needed to go online and look for other options. The man kept trying to explain his situation to her, but wasn't getting anywhere. His English language abilities were limited, so it was difficult for him to communicate. He was becoming increasingly frustrated, and she was becoming increasingly indifferent. After he finally despondently turned away from the counter, my wife's colleague, Fernando, went up to the man and asked what was up. He speaks Spanish, so I was able to understand his story. The man had lost his job here in San Francisco area, had no place to live, and only $150 in his pocket. He had family who were living in Las Vegas and was trying to get there. He was told he could get a ticket for $150, but told Fernando he couldn't read, didn't have a computer, and didn't know how to access the internet from the airport, let alone navigate how to purchase a low-fare ticket. Fernando believed him and wanted to help him. They walked back to the counter and Fernando purchased a $330 ticket to Las Vegas for the man. Fernando didn't ask for anything and trusted that this guy's story was true. He followed his heart because he wanted to help, and most importantly, he did. May this incredibly kind gesture from a stranger who paid attention and cared enough to listen to the man's story and take some action be a turning point for him to get back on track. It was a good Samaritan helping another who was down on their luck, most likely an immigrant who's most definitely a human being, so he might have some safety, better his life, and be with his family. Not only a month later, when Fernando's wife was going through the credit card statement, she saw the charge and asked her husband, "Wasn't that ticket $240? Why is this bill $330? Fernando sheepishly replied, "I upgraded him." He upgraded him. That's nice. We are going to look at some more animals. So, Claudia, does Lily want any animals in specific, or does she still want more bunnies? Because I'm okay with either one. My throat's a little bit dry. Here, we'll do more bunnies. Whatever animal's okay, we'll do some more bunnies.
He was just cowering in a corner. Since he didn't have a mom, I knew that I would have to act as his mom.
Oh, hurry back. Oh wait, are you back, or are you hurrying back? And hello, Casua. Oh, welcome back, Ella.
Once I got him home and settled, I began trying to get him to eat. That tooth and coffee, no one left.
Gracias. Well, you're very gracias.
He has now figured out that
Or I don't know what the word for welcome. Welcome. You're welcome is.
started to measure his growth.
Did not I?
Only weighed enough to
That better be what that actually means. I believe you, but it still had better be what that means. I don't want to be bamboozled by Li. Okay, I believe you. But don't bamboozle me, please.
he started to almost double in weight every single day.
Gracias for the lesson.
He was getting bigger and stronger. Once we saw that he was
Or like it's nothing.
wanting to stop
Donata
working,
is your welcome. Okay, cool.
we made him his own little meadow in a child's play pool. And we began to add little obstacles.
Or like it's nothing, but same thing. Cool.
He can really exercise and stretch those big, strong back legs.
Nada. Oh, I do know that nada means nothing. They use it as you're welcome. Okay, cool.
Bulked up with his milk, we started introducing things. He was jumping so high and running so fast. He graduated from his pool yard. So my husband built a hutch to help us
A rabbit
graduate him
hutch.
from inside to outside to hopefully release him, but give him the option to use that hutch for shelter.
Oh, what a cutie.
He's ready. He's strong and he's healthy. We're gonna leave his hutch out there for him so that he can have the option to live an outside life or to feel sheltered in his hutch.
You learned did not I? As it is of nothing.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
I see. Let's look at that. Very adorable baby mole grows up overnight. Look at that mole. It's a tiny mole. Moles have big hands. They have very big hands.
It had already been so long that she had been without mum. We decided it was in her best interest to get her straight into rehabilitation.
I never realized how big their hands are. So ugly, but so cute. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's their hands that are the strangest thing to me. Their hands are huge. It's really dig. They're big digging hands. Holy big mole. That's pretty good.
Whenever you show her milk, there's no stopping her and getting as much as she can right away. She's a real character. And it was really funny watching her grow into her feet. Their front
Its whole
paws
body
were
is
so
weird.
soft,
Well, you know,
they
moles
don't
have very
much
strange
force
proportions,
with
it's
their
true.
back end. So she was really wobbly. They have a really good sense of smell, and you can just tell whenever you're looking at her that she's finding out what's around her from her nose and not much else. Her eyes.
Who are
don't
you to
do much.
judge? They just doing their digging thing.
There's no ears, so that nose is really important for her.
It's true. It's all true. They're just living their lives.
Almost happened overnight. Like, it was incredible. She was tiny, 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 and then just boom. She's really come into those feet now.
Their holy
And when
lives.
we introduced her to soil, it did take her a second to know
Yeah,
what
yeah, that works.
to
That
do.
works.
She just burrowed straight
pretty
down.
good.
She can move incredibly quickly.
I would
in
never judge a
soil.
mole. Never. Moles they live hard lives. They have to dig through the earth their whole lives.
Not very impressed if you wake her up and there's no food around.
Just living in a tunnel underground. Can you imagine that? Living in a tunnel? I can't. I guess I could. I'd have to really think about it though. Just burrow under the ground and wait there. Just wait there for a while. See what happens. You know, you're just waiting around. Like, oh, you know, I'll wait. There's a creature coming for me. I'll just dig under the ground and wait.
But we know that's what we do it for, and that's the best thing for her. What we're hoping is she'll just dig straight down, and that'll be it.
Oh, there she goes.
It's bittersweet.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
And the mole it got away and to its own life and lived happily ever after. That is why the Lindens call the terraformers and land builders moles. I never knew they called them that. I'm learning a whole bunch of stuff tonight. Oh man, I never knew that. I never knew. Guy's best friends with 14 wild chipmunks. Okay, well, let's watch this one. Look at those cheeks. How do they do it? How do they fit they can't fit the nuts in there.
Years ago, I bought the bird
They can't do it.
That was the first time I saw my first chipmunk.
It's like they're trying to fit those nuts in there, but they can't do it.
I just instantly fell in love with the cuteness of the little animal. I literally spent 4 to 5 hours every day with her.
They're trying though. They're trying to fit those nuts, but they can't do it.
The feeling of love that I had through me, and it just melted my heart. And she's what really just got me started in chipmunks. And now I'm feeding 14
A
of them.
docile chipmunk. If you meet someone on SL with the last name Mole, they are LL employees. How did they fit them in? They're so packed. Well, it looks to me like chipmunks have extremely elastic cheeks. Right? They have extremely elastic cheeks, and they have a very strong. Hey, yeah, they were like 6 or 7 nuts in that mouth. Like a crazy amount.
Who lives away from all the other chipmunks. And I feed her.
Look at them go. Oh my gosh, they can't put any more in there.
And then I keep moving. So since I have
Aw,
14
it's
chipmunks
good.
I'm feeding, I never stay with one chipmunk too long.
Like they get like all 8 in there, and they're like, okay, I gotta
They
go.
know
I
what
gotta go
they do,
right
which
now.
I find absolutely amazing. It just shows they're smarter than people think.
My gosh, they really do have elastic cheeks. They can fit that many nuts in there. Look at them, like they're just like pushing themselves to the limit every time. And then they're off. Oh, that's very sweet though.
Chipmunks are solitary animals. They live on their own. They don't want to think that someone knows where they live. So you usually want to feed them about at least 10 feet away from their hole.
Look at all these chipmunks.
When you see the chipmunk as much as I have, their personalities are
Gosh, they can fit so many nuts in there. I don't even know how it's possible.
different, how they look.
It seems crazy to me. Because they know what they can do.
When I'm done feeding them for
Hazelnuts.
the day, I will then spend time with them.
I've never had a hazelnut before. Oh my gosh. Mr. Jeremy's favorite. Oh. I'll have to remember that.
Let's see the dinky tail. Every chipmunk's tail is a little different. Very skinny. Skinny little tail. Bob, I'm gonna show him your tail. Come on. That's a bobtail.
That's a thick
Very
tail.
short, stubby. Bob is a cutie. Look at that tail. Right before winter, they have to go out and they have to gather acorns and things that will last through the winter. Stinky, I would literally give her 2,000 acorns.
Oh my
for the
gosh.
winter, okay? Well, I have 14 chipmunks now. So this year I had to get 28,000
Oh my gosh.
That will
That's
save
so
them
many
from having to go
acorns.
wander hundreds of yards away from their hole looking for food.
Can you believe it's gonna be 4 years, Mushy? 4 years together, Mushy. My sweet Mushy.
Seeing those gigantic cheeks makes me anxious. Because I'm like, you don't have to put any more in there. You can just keep that many. You don't need to put one more in there. You're fine. But no, they figure it out. Every time they're like, "Oh, I can fit 2 more." Like you're like, "No, you can't fit another one." Like, "No, I can fit 2 more." You're like, "I can fit more." Let's do one more video.
There it goes. As soon as I start walking, you
Oh,
follow
I actually might have posted this one in the Discord at some point.
me. You do. Wherever I go, you follow me. Can't have you get run over. You're in a busy road, buddy.
I was driving home from work, and there's a ball of fur in the middle of the road. So I get out of my car, and she's following me. I was a little.
She's been imprinted on.
I've never seen a groundhog before.
Okay, see? It's scary. Someone can run you over.
Lily wants to try that with Peeps, but Mr. Jeremy said
Scary.
no.
What are you doing? Huh? Come here. Come here. Come on.
Oh, put the Peeps in her mouth. Yeah.
This is a disaster.
And this went on for about 45 minutes before I got
Chubby Peep is probably.
I said, hey,
It's kind of a dangerous game because you don't want to put too many Peeps in your mouth.
and I think I'm gonna bring it home. We had her.
It's probably for the best.
About 3 days, and she did not know how to burrow. She had only at that point knew how to make a nest, and so called a rehabilitator, who I brought her to later that afternoon. For about 2 days, we didn't have her, and I called the rehabilitator just to check in. And the woman was so glad you called. She's not doing great. Her husband's gonna kill me because I think she's better off with you. For 22 years, never has she asked me to come and take a wild animal in my dog. So we
Aw.
found this
The
groundhog.
vid is like frozen. Yeah, it happens sometimes. It'll come back.
Actually had 3 different burrows.
She comes out for breakfast on a really regular basis.
Broccoli.
She coexisted
I eat a lot of
with
broccoli too,
animals.
actually.
She spends most of her time out here on the deck just eating, and she likes to lay
Oh,
in
what a
the sun
cutie.
and relax.
And plop.
Yeah, it just starts working again randomly.
If we're home on the weekends and we're doing yard work, she's with us the whole time. And she'll follow us down to the lake.
Yeah. Some animals are just crazy into hanging out with humans like that. Even though it doesn't really make any sense.
Walking in between our feet.
Oh yeah, Ella is on SL.
She wrestles with us. She's very affectionate.
That's right, you two haven't met before, have you?
He just lets us rub her ears, brush her. As a wild animal.
Yeah, Ella is my very good friend from Second Life. Even my best friend, I would say.
He 100% trusts us.
Hey, you weren't both at my birthday party, so you both haven't met each other.
Right? They humanize.
I think you were busy that day,
animals,
Jeremy. Or
and
Claudia, excuse me.
Our own little animal personality we can humanize, you know?
Okay. So we're gonna do a couple more good news stories. So our first one will be New hope as groundbreaking cancer treatment could save child with a very rare condition. By Good News Network. A young boy is the first in the world to have this rare form of cancer spreading through his body, but he has a fighting chance thanks to a groundbreaking treatment. 12-year-old Reeve Carnison has a life-threatening cancer that's normally slow to progress, limited to the skin, and seen in adults who have spent years sunbathing without sunscreen. He was first diagnosed with advanced cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma in 2015. But a chemotherapy cream seemed to have mostly cured it in 2019. Sadly, the skin cancer was then found to have spread to his bones and brain in 2020, just days after Reeve and his family were told to say their goodbyes. After it was found the cancer had spread to his lungs, Reeve was offered another chance at life with new treatment. This therapy has never been used in children anywhere in the world to battle this form of cancer, and Reeve's unusual case makes him the first kid to undergo semiplimab, a programmed receptor 1 PD-1 blocking antibody, which teaches the patient's body's immune system to recognize the cancer cells as not part of them and harmful. You haven't met anybody but have an avatar on this Reddit account now. Oh, sorry. No, it's okay, Cassie. I do forget sometimes. I can be forgetful. Reeve, who has lived with immunological complications after beating leukemia as a baby, has kept on fighting, and his proud mom, Lydia Carnison, said he is responding well to the treatment, which began on May the 7th. The mom of 3 said, "It's amazing, he is stable, and we believe the treatment is working. We feel unbelievably blessed at this time. We believe he is a miracle 1,000 times over." In the meantime, Reeve has mentioned that he has 3 wishes: to have a pet duck, to go to the mall, and to go camping. Now he has 2 dogs named Donald Duck and Daisy. He's visited the Metro Center Mall in Newcastle on a VIP experience. 5 stores invited him to pick out whatever he'd like with no budget limit. He is so humble that he picked a lot of ducks, sweeties, and balloons. His mom said, "Here at GNN, we're wishing Reeve and his family a wonderful camping trip as soon as it's possible." That's okay, you just misspelled your own. Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. Oh, here's a good one. Okay. Judge gave drug dealer a second chance. 16 years later, he swore him in as a lawyer by Good News Network. The difference between finding justice and following the letter of the law sometimes takes a simple act of compassion. Where others might have seen an incorrigible offender, one judge saw promise, and following a hunch, he acted on his intuition. At first glance, Edward Martell, a 27-year-old high school dropout with an extensive arrest record, might not have seemed a prime candidate for rehabilitation, but when he was facing a 20-year drug conviction, instead of meting out the maximum sentence, presiding judge Bruce Morrow gave Martell probation and a challenge. Morrow told Martell the next time he stepped into the courtroom, he expected him to have made something of himself, something big. He said, "I challenge you to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company instead of being out here selling drugs." Martell told Deadline Detroit, "And I love a challenge." It was kind of in jest, Morrow recalled in an interview with the Washington Post, but he understood. "I believed he could do anything he wanted to. He could be anything he wanted to be." Fast forward 16 years, and Martell is standing in front of Judge Morrow again, only this time, he's being sworn in as an attorney after passing the Michigan State Bar. While the outcome is sweet, Martell's path wasn't easy or assured. since there was a very real possibility that his prior criminal record might scuttle his future plans. As he was completing his GED, Martel's guidance counselors discouraged him from pursuing a legal career, but he refused to give up. After obtaining his associate's degree, Martel went on to score scholarships for both his undergraduate studies and law school. He then clerked at the District of Columbia's Federal Public Defender's Office, and eventually was hired by Perkins Law Group as a researcher and writer. When it came time to take a bar exam, Martel had plenty of supporters in his corner, including Judge Morrow, with whom he'd kept touch over the years. With the help of his law firm mentors, Martel submitted a 1,200-plus page application detailing the steps he'd taken to turn his life around. The main thing they look for is candor. I let them know I am remorseful, that I'm downright embarrassed, Martel told WAPO. I am the same person, but I don't think like that anymore. I've evolved. His approval only took 15 minutes. The seeds of a dream he'd planted had finally come to fruition. Martel still has a job with the Perkins Group, and now he'll be practicing attorney rather than a researcher. All because one man was willing to take a chance and made a challenge Martel couldn't walk away from. It's a crazy cliche, but some defendants, that's what they need, Morrow told Dee. If you believe like I believe, that there but for the grace of God go you and me. It took some intelligence to get in and out of the kind of trouble he got into. I told him, you could be my son, let's see how far you can go. And man, he hasn't finished yet. Which is just the kind of sentencing recommendation we could likely use a lot more of these days. That's a good one. I think that's our last good news story for the day. Maybe we'll get one more, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, we'll do one more. Shepard is hailed as hero, braving freezing temperatures to save 6 runners in Chinese ultramarathon. By Judy Cole, from May the 27th. Being in the right place at the right time can mean the difference between life and death. When a freak ice storm felled runners in a 100-kilometer cross-country race in China's northwestern Gansu province, a shepherd named Xu Qiming braved the elements to pull 3 men and 3 women to safety. The day of the race began with mild temperatures. Xu was tending his flock, as usual. Then in the space of a few moments, everything changed. As temperatures plummeted and freezing sleet and hail began to pound the terrain, Xu took shelter in a small cave he'd been using for years to store emergency supplies. It was from this vantage point Xu noticed one of the runners in obvious distress. The man appeared immobilized, disoriented, and in pain. Xu brought the man back to the cave to warm him up. After lighting a fire, Xu returned to the mountainside, shepherding 5 additional runners to the cave. There's little doubt he saved their lives. Unprepared for the abrupt shift in weather, most racers were outfitted in lightweight clothing that was no match for the frigid temperatures. The threat of hypothermia was all too real. 21 of the 172 athletes in the race succumbed to the storm. It's very unfortunate. I want to say how grateful I am to the man who saved me. Runner Chang Qiao posted on the Chinese social media site Weibo. Without him, I would have been left out there. While Xu is being lauded as a hero in his homeland, the humble shepherd doesn't see the reason for all the fuss. He says, just an ordinary person who did a very ordinary thing. That's what he says he is. The athletes whose lives he saved, their families, and pretty much everyone else who hears the story likely disagree. being in the right place at the right time and having the courage to do the right thing can be extraordinary indeed. And that'll be our last news story for the day. Oh, Kasuwa. I don't know. I can never remember how to say that name. If you have any questions for me, then please feel free to ask them. I'm taking questions still. We were doing a segment called Questions for Cass earlier, but I'd like to take some now if you've got any. And this will be during my story time as well. So, sitting comfortably in whatever position you prefer. Think about being Cassie UI. Okay, cool. Cassie UI. Think about being in a safe place like this, but with the lights down low. Maybe no lights at all, just the sound of the rain pouring and dripping on the top of the bus. There's that moment when you're laying under the covers and you've got a pillow under your head. It's very warm and it's very comfortable. And you're laying there and there's a half light, a very short half light, where you can feel you're crossing over halfway through the door into something else, something strange and comfortable, familiar, yet oddly distant and cloudy, fuzzy, blurry. And that dullness spreads. It spreads through your mind, through your eyes and nose, over your cheeks. And while it might even feel like you're forgetting something, what's really happening is that when you have your eyes closed and when you're safe and comfortable under the blankets, listening to the rain, your mind is drifting off, and that drift, far away from your bed, from the warmth of your home, is taking you someplace that only you can go. Someplace so far and so special that only consciousness, sapiency, and sentiency can get you. It's past the things that are in the minds of rocks, past all the neurons, the chemicals, and it's something beyond all of that. And when you finally enter into that dream, when you completely step through that door into the next room, and that moment picks up, it picks up into something new. And you don't remember the moment it happens, of course. You remember being in a new room. You remember sitting, eating, sleeping, laying, but you don't remember how you got there. You just remember that you're in the midst of something, some illusion, some delusion. And that act, it's more than just a facade. It's like liquid. And you're up to your neck in it, peering down into the molasses. Everything's so blurry and fuzzy, just like before. But then you stretch. You stretch and you look at what your hands are doing, and you've got so much happening. It feels like a mountain underneath you, like you're at the top of Mount Everest. and you're looking out and you see the beauty of the world before you. You see all that wonder, all that joy in life. And just as you reach out and touch the sun and feel the warmth on your face, something swallows you. Something swallows your thoughts. And you notice there's light on your face. You open your eyes, and it's morning. That's how it is for me, at least. It happens so quickly, it comes and goes. And before I know it, I'm already waking up. That's how I would describe a dream. I hope you folks like that. That was a little bit of ASMR, sleep ASMR for you. I do like doing that. I have to get back into it soon. It's been a while since I've done any of those. I hope that if any of you have fallen asleep, that you're relaxing quietly, and that you do get to slip into that dream state before you know it. I always feel a little bit better after I do those ASMRs. I forgot about how good it feels. But we are quickly coming to near the end of the stream. We'll be going for about another 4 minutes, maybe a little less. Tonight was a good night. We got Centennial and we got Destrada as our followers, adding to the people who show up and have a good time, adding to the faces we can see and the eyes that are on us. And for every person that decides they want to show up and have a good time, for every person that gets help or falls asleep or decides that they want to keep coming back, we find that there's a new niche, a new place, a new softness, and you can run your hand over it, and you can feel how complex, how textured it is, and that texture, you could do a stream of water on your stream of sound. Yeah, I have thought about doing that actually. A stream of water on your stream of sound. I'd like that. We might do that later on. I may get back into the good night stuff. I'm not sure. Honestly, no, I'm starting to fall asleep. What a good night, though. What a good night. You know, Cast Dogs has been a baby to me. It's been my child, so to speak. And we have come so far. We've come so very far. I hope that one day I can look back on moments like these. I can look at them and enjoy them and see the kind of power they have, the kind of strength they have, the kind of will and love and joy and peace and benevolence they have. can just remember it and remember how far I've come. It was episode 33 right now, right? 32, no, episode 32. Maybe that'll be the episode I got back into ASMR. Because that was fun. That was very fun. Well, 32. Last week was 31. Well, thank you very much, Playful. I'm going to lose track soon. And thank you everybody for being here tonight, for being so active in chat, but we have come to the end of our time. It's, as always, fantastic being here and doing this for you. And I am lucky, very, very lucky, to have the chance to have so many good friends and good people. Lovely stream. Thank you, Ella. Lovely to have you. And I hope that this warmed your week and has given you a nice send-off. A nice send-off to May. Because we're heading into June here in a minute. Pretty soon it'll be June. Pretty soon it'll be June. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lie down here a little bit and just close my eyes for a while. But once again, glad I could be here. Cassius Junima. I love that. Oh, a Junima. I can be like a little apple spirit. A little apple with a C on it. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I mean. If you've played Stardew Valley, you know what I mean. And they might be called Junimos, I don't know, but Junima sounds great. 32 this week, awesome, 32 weeks. Oh man. That's so awesome. Mr. Jeremy says I have to go in so he can write an update. Okay. We'll give my best to Jeremy. And you all have been great. As always. Get a good night's sleep. Have a quiet, peaceful night. Stay safe. And take care. Thank you, Playful. See you folks next time. Good night.